or perhaps fully immersed in a creative act, where the brush moves itself, the words flow effortlessly, and the sense of doing dissolves into pure being. What happens in those precious instants? In these moments, the I that usually narrates, judges and worries, seems to step aside. But then it returns. Who is this I that can disappear, and then reappear? Claiming ownership of the experience, we cling to a sense of a stable, enduring self, a continuous observer behind our eyes. Yet, if we truly examine, this self is constantly shifting, a collection of ever-changing sensations, thoughts and perceptions. The Buddha, in his profound wisdom, offered a radical path to understanding this truth, not through philosophy or debate, but through direct, unadorned experience. He called it seeing things as they are. To Baha'ya, a wandering ascetic, the Buddha offered the ultimate teaching in the scene: there is just the scene. Meaning, when you see, simply see. Do not add I am seeing, or I like this, or this is mine. And in the herd, there is just the herd; in the sensed, just the sensed; in the cognized, just the cognized. This is a profound invitation to strip away all mental fabrication, to meet each moment exactly as it is, when perception is freed from the I, from the one who claims and identifies there is no longer a you to come or go, to be born or die. This is the moment you truly disappear into the. How to practice this? Simply notice a sound. A bird's song, the hum of the refrigerator. Hear it, without adding a story, without a me that hears. Just the sound, in its pure arising and passing. Each time you allow yourself to disappear into the pure experience of the moment, seeing, hearing, sensing, cognizing, you touch the boundless peace that lies beyond the self. This is not an escape, but a homecoming to reality. When you're completely absorbed in watching a sunset, who is the watcher? In that moment of pure witnessing, where does the you go? In deep concentration, a musician becomes the music itself. The boundary between player and played dissolves. This is not philosophy, it's direct experience. The Buddha taught Baha'ya in the scene, let there be only the seen. In the herd, only the herd. In the sensed, only the sensed. This is the gate to freedom. Notice how thoughts arise like bubbles in a stream. Before labeling them my thoughts, there's a moment of pure awareness. Rest there. The space between thoughts vast like the sky. Not empty, not full, not you, not other. The natural state before naming begins. When joy arises, before claiming it as my happiness, there's pure experiencing. The Buddha called this seeing things as they are. Like a mirror reflecting all things without holding on to any image. Your true nature is this knowing awareness, empty yet luminous. Even in deep sleep, awareness remains. Who knows the state of dreamless sleep? This mystery points to your essential nature. The ancient Chan masters asked, show me your original face before your parents were born. This is not philosophy, look directly. Let everything be as it is. Don't create a meditator. Don't create meditation. In this simple allowing, freedom reveals itself. Have you ever lost yourself in a moment? The artist consumed by their brushstroke, the musician by their melody, the runner by the rhythm of their stride. The hiker mesmerized by a mountain vista, the child utterly absorbed in play, the lover lost in the other's gaze. In these moments, you seem to vanish. But who is it that vanishes? And to whom do these moments of profound absorption occur? Is there an unchanging observer, a stable I behind it all? We often presume a fixed self, a permanent me experiencing life. Yet, when the experience is so complete, where does that me go? Does it truly exist as a separate entity? Centuries ago, an urgent seeker named Baha'ya asked the Buddha for a teaching that would bring immediate liberation. The Buddha's response was startlingly simple, yet profound. He said, in the scene there is just the scene. Not I see, not this is mine, but simply the pure act of seeing, unburdened by interpretation or possession. In the herd, there is just the herd. The sound itself, without the filter of preference or judgment, without the story of who is hearing it. And so too, in the sensed, just the sensed; in the cognized, just the cognized. No agent, no owner, just the process. This is the moment you truly disappear. When perception is pure, unclouded by the self-narrative, suffering finds no ground to cling. This immediate, unmediated awareness is liberation itself, here and now. So, the practice is not to find a self, but to simply be present with what is exactly as it is. In every seen, heard, sensed, and cognized moment, let the you disappear into the pure unfolding of reality. Have you ever been so lost in a task, a melody, or a beautiful sunset, that for a moment, you simply vanished? In those precious moments, when the doer or the observer fades, what remains? Just the seeing, just the hearing, just the feeling. This profound insight was once sought by Baha'ya, a sincere seeker who rushed to the Buddha, begging for a teaching that could bring immediate liberation. The Buddha, seeing Baha'ya's urgency, gave him the most direct instruction. In the seen, just the seen; in the heard, just the heard. He continued: in the sensed, just the sensed; in the cognized, just the cognized. No thoughts, no stories, no I making sense of it. When you abide in this direct experience, without the I that labels or judges, then there is no you here or there, now or then. You simply disappear. This isn't about annihilating yourself, but about letting go of the heavy burden of constantly constructing and defending an identity. It's freedom. In your daily life, try pausing. Just touch the cup, just hear the bird, just feel the breath, without adding any mental commentary or labels. When there's no self to defend, no agenda to fulfill, a deep, unconditioned freedom arises. This peace is not dependent on circumstances. The moment you disappear, life doesn't diminish, it becomes infinitely full, rich with direct, unmediated experience. Embrace this profound, liberating truth. In complete absorption, a pianist's fingers dance across keys, no thought of I am playing. The music simply flows through empty space. A child laughs at bubbles floating by, completely merged with the moment, no separation between joy and being. Where is the experiencer in pure experience? The ancient sage Baha'ya approached the Buddha, desperate for truth. In the seen, let there be only the seen, taught the Buddha. In the heard, only the heard. In sensations, just sensations, the teaching continues. Notice how the mind rushes to claim each experience: I am seeing, I am hearing. But who is this I? Like a mirror reflecting clouds, the mirror claims no ownership of the reflections. Your consciousness is this mirror, simply aware without a center. In deep sleep, where does the self go? Yet awareness continues. Breathing happens, life flows. The heart beats without a conductor. The Tibetan yogis speak of Rikpa, pure awareness without center or circumference. Like space itself, it has no owner, yet contains all phenomena. When you truly disappear into any activity, painting, running, dancing, that's when life flows most beautifully. The obstacle was always the imagined self. The Chan masters say, who is dragging this corpse around? A shocking question to wake us from the dream of self. Look directly, who is looking? In this very moment, before thought claims it, rest in pure awareness. Here is the freedom the Buddha pointed to, not in finding yourself, but in the blessing of disappearing. Have you ever felt those moments when the world around you simply fades away, leaving only absolute presence? In that flow, did you notice that the observer, seemed to vanish as well? Who is this he that claims to be the seer, the hearer, the knower? What is it really? Could it be nothing more than a collection of sensations, perceptions, and thoughts that we desperately cling to? The Buddha's teaching to Baha'ya was like a lightning bolt. In the seen, there is only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. In the sensed, only the sensed. In the cognized, only the cognized. This isn't a theory to analyze, it's an invitation to perceive reality directly. It requires no explanation, no intellectual gymnastics. It is a simple return to raw, unadulterated experience. When you look at a flower, are you truly seeing it? Or are you seeing the name, the concept, and the memory of a flower? The same applies to every sound you hear, every emotion that rises, and every thought that flickers through your mind. In the cognized, only the cognized. They are merely fleeting phenomena. When the seer disappears, only the seeing remains. When the hearer vanishes, only the hearing exists. In that moment, the boundary between subject and object dissolves. There is no more me or mine. Living without clinging to a projected self feels like a massive weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Every action becomes more natural, more transparent, more alive. Practicing Baha'ya's wisdom isn't about ritualistic meditation, it's about living each moment in its totality. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you speak, just speak. Let the self dissolve, not to lose anything, but to open up a vast, boundless space where life is experienced exactly as it is, whole, raw, and unconditional. Have you ever lost yourself completely in a moment? In the rhythm of a dance, the stroke of a brush, or the flow of a melody? A brief, exquisite vanishing of the I. In those moments, the self that usually observes, judges, and plans, simply dissolves. There's just the doing, the being, the pure experience itself, unburdened. But who is it that returns after such a moment? Who is the self that reassembles, claiming ownership of that profound absorption? Is this I truly fixed? We often cling to a story of I, a collection of memories, roles, and preferences. But this I is ever-changing, a river, not a stone. It's a convenient, yet ultimately insubstantial, construct. Centuries ago, a sincere seeker named Bahia approached the Buddha, asking for a teaching that could lead to immediate liberation without delay. The Buddha's response was startlingly direct. He said, in the seen, there is only the seen; in the heard, only the heard; in the sensed, only the sensed; in the cognized, only the cognized. Nothing more, nothing less, just this direct perception. This means, when you see, there is no seer behind the seeing. When you hear, there is no separate hearer. Just the pure act of sensing, without an owner or a fixed eye. When the seer disappears, the identification with what is seen dissolves. The judgments, the grasping, the aversion, they lose their ground. This immediate non-identification is true freedom. In daily life, practice being fully present with each sensation, sound, and thought, without immediately labeling it as mine or me. Just the experience, unfolding, without a proprietor. In this pure, unowned experience, the moment you disappear becomes the moment you truly arrive fully present, deeply peaceful, and utterly free. This is the living realization. Have you ever lost yourself entirely in a moment? In the rhythm of a dance, the brushstroke of a painting, or the melody of a song? Where the you vanished, and only the experience remained. These are glimpses into a deeper truth. Moments of pure flow, where the boundary between observer and observed blurs. No longer I am doing, but simply doing happening. But who, then, is truly present when you disappear? Is there a fixed entity, a permanent self, hiding behind these transient experiences, waiting to re-emerge? The Buddhist teachings gently guide us to look closer, to see that this self we cling to is not a solid, unchanging core, but a constantly shifting collection of sensations, thoughts, and perceptions. Centuries ago, the Buddha gave a profound teaching to a wanderer named Bahia. A teaching so direct, it was called the shortest path to liberation, revealing the secret of non-self. The Buddha said, in the seen, there will be merely the seen. In the heard, merely the heard. In the sensed, merely the sensed. In the cognized, merely the cognized. This means to experience directly, without adding the overlay of I am seeing, or I am hearing. Just the pure act of seeing, free from the concept of a separate seer. When you perceive in this way, without a you in the seen, or you in the heard, then you are not thereby. And where you are not thereby, you are neither here nor beyond. This is the moment you disappear, not as a loss, but as a liberation from the constant construction of a separate self. The mind rests, free from grasping and aversion. To live without the burden of a fixed self is to live as pure, unconditioned awareness. Fully present, fully responsive, yet unentangled and open space for life to unfold. Have you ever been completely lost in a moment? A painter immersed in color, a musician dissolving into sound, a dancer becoming the rhythm itself. In those flow states, the sense of I vanishes. There's no you doing, just the pure unfolding of the act. Time distorts, the world outside fades. This isn't just about intense focus. It's a glimpse into pure experience, where the experiencer and the experienced momentarily merge, leaving only the experience itself. But when the I disappears, who or what is observing this vanishing? Who is there to witness the merging, the pure experience? This is the core inquiry. Centuries ago, a seeker named Bahia approached the Buddha with immense urgency, asking for a teaching that could bring liberation immediately, right then and there. The Buddha, seeing Bahia's ripeness, gave him the shortest, most profound instruction. In the seen, there is just the seen. In the heard, just the heard. In the sensed, just the sensed. In the cognized, just the cognized. This radical instruction cuts through all layers of interpretation, judgment, and the self that usually filters experience. When there is just the seen, there is no seer constructing a separate identity. When there is just the heard, there is no hearer claiming ownership. Only the pure event. In that moment of unmediated perception, you disappear. The self that grasps, judges, and suffers dissolves. And in that disappearance, true freedom and peace are found. So, in every moment, can you simply see the seen, hear the heard? Just for an instant, let the observer dissolve, and discover the profound peace that remains. Watch closely as you're completely absorbed in music. Where is the listener? In that moment of pure experience, something fascinating happens. The one who thinks they're listening vanishes. When a master archer releases the perfect shot, there's no archer, just the pure flow of movement. The Japanese call this mushin, the mind of no mind, where doer and doing become one. The Baha'ya Sutta reveals a radical truth: in the seen, there is only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. In the sensed, only the sensed. No experiencer separate from experience. Consider a wave in the ocean. Where exactly is itself? Is it the water? the movement, the form. Like waves, we too are processes, not fixed entities. The Chinese Zen masters spoke of host and guest consciousness is like an empty guest house, thoughts merely visitors. None of them is the true owner. In deep sleep, where does the self go? This daily dissolution holds a profound hint. Consciousness itself is like the sky, while thoughts and identity are like passing clouds. The Tibetan practice of Churd teaches, what we call I is like a rainbow seemingly solid from afar, but upon investigation, just empty light and perception. When you're deeply engaged in helping others, notice how the self naturally fades. Compassion reveals the truth of interconnection. There is no separate giver or receiver. The Vietnamese master Thich Nhat Hanh taught interbeing look at a flower and see the entire cosmos. Where does the flower end and the universe begin? Let this truth liberate. You are not a fixed self trying to become free. You are the freedom that's been here all along, simply recognizing its own nature. Have you ever lost yourself entirely in a moment? A painter in their stroke, a musician in their melody, a hiker captivated by a vista. In those moments, the you who observes simply vanishes. In those moments, the I who judges, the self who strives, simply dissolves. There is only the doing, the seeing, the being. But where does that self go? And who is it that returns? We rarely question the E that observes, the me that claims ownership of experience. Yet, it is this very identification that can bind us, creating a subtle, persistent suffering. The Buddha offered a radical inquiry. To Bahá'í, a wandering ascetic, the Buddha taught in the scene, just the scene. No seer, no story, no judgment, no me reacting. Only the raw, immediate experience of sight itself. In the herd, just the herd. In the sensed, just the sensed. In the cognized, just the cognized. When there is no you adding meaning, no I identifying, the mind becomes vast and open. When there is no you in the seen, heard, sensed, or cognized, then there is no you anywhere. This is the radical moment of true liberation, not from life, but from the illusion of a separate, enduring self. Try it now. Feel the breath. Is there a you breathing, or simply the sensation of breath arising and passing? Just the breath, no owner, no story, just the pure phenomenon of life. Watch a thought arise. Is there a thinker behind it, or just the thought appearing and dissolving in the vastness of awareness? Just the thought, no thinker, no me to claim it. This isn't annihilation, but profound freedom. When the burden of a fixed self dissolves, what remains is pure, unconditioned presence, boundless and free. A joy that needs no cause. So, observe. In every moment, ask, is there an I here, or just the unfolding of experience? In that simple inquiry, the secret of non-self begins to reveal itself. Embrace the moment you disappear. In the moment of complete absorption, when you're lost in the sunset's glow, or caught in the rhythm of waves, have you noticed? There's no you there at all. When a musician becomes one with the melody, when an artist dissolves into their creation, that's not loss. It's the most profound aliveness possible. The Bahá'í Sutta reveals, in the scene there is only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. In the sensed, only the sensed. In the cognized, only the cognized. Consider the space between thoughts, that gap where you're fully present, but the thinker hasn't arrived yet. That spaciousness is your true nature. The Buddha taught Bahá'í then, there is no you in terms of that. When there is no you in terms of that, there is no you there. When there is no you there, like a wave realizing it's the ocean, freedom isn't found in becoming something special. It's found in recognizing what you've always been. This isn't philosophy, it's an invitation to look directly. Right now, without concept or commentary, what's actually here before the story of me begins. Each moment of true seeing is complete in itself. No need to grasp, no need to push away. Just this, the simple miracle of awareness knowing itself. In deep sleep, where does the self go? Yet awareness remains. This same spaciousness is here now, behind every thought, every sensation. This is the heart of the Buddha's insight, not a new belief to adopt, but an invitation to see what's already here, when the seeker dissolves into the seeing. Have you ever lost yourself entirely in a moment? The world fades, the clock stops, and for a fleeting instant, the you disappears. Perhaps in the rhythm of a dance, the flow of music, or the intense focus of a challenging task, where your thoughts quiet, and only the pure experience remains. In those precious moments of pure being, who was observing? Was there a separate you directing the show, or simply the unfolding of experience? The Buddha, in his teaching to Bahá'í of the bark garment, offered the most direct and radical instruction on this very question, a path to immediate liberation. When you see something, Bahá'í, just the seen will be for you. Nothing more, nothing less. No seer, no I am seeing. When you hear something, just the heard. When you smell, just the smelled. When you taste, just the tasted. When you touch, just the touched. And when you cognize something, just the cognized will be for you. No you behind it, no this is mine. This is the vanishing point of self. This isn't about ignoring the world, but perceiving it directly, without the instant overlay of I like or I dislike, this is good or this is bad. Just pure awareness. When there's only the seeing, the hearing, the sensing, the cognizing, the burden of self falls away, revealing a vast, unconditioned freedom, a peace beyond measure. Step into this moment of disappearance, and discover the boundless peace that remains when you are no longer clinging to the illusion of a separate, enduring self. This is your true nature. Have you ever lost yourself completely in a moment? In art, in music, in the quiet focus of a task. For a fleeting instant, the I that usually dictates your world simply disappears. And when it returns, that familiar sense of I, who is it, truly? What is this observer, this narrator, this self that claims ownership of every thought, every feeling, every experience? We cling to a story, a collection of memories and labels, believing it to be a solid, unchanging self. Yet, like a river, it is constantly flowing, always changing, never truly the same from one moment to the next. The Buddha, in the Baha'ya Sutta, offered a profound path in the seen. There is just the seen. No seer, no I judging or identifying, just the pure, unadulterated experience of seeing. Similarly, in the heard, there is just the heard. The sound of wind, of rain, of distant bells arising and passing without a hearer to claim or cling to it. Just the pure phenomenon. And in the sense, there is just the sensed. The warmth of the sun, the coolness of the air, the texture of the ground beneath your feet, pure bodily sensations, free from interpretation or attachment. Finally, in the cognized, there is just the cognized. Thoughts, emotions, memories, they arise, they stay for a while, and they pass. No thinker, no feeler, just the dance of consciousness itself. When there is only the seen, heard, sensed, and cognized, without a you to cling, to grasp, or to define, then there is no longer a you in this world or the next. This is the ultimate freedom. This practice isn't about denying your existence, but dissolving the illusion of a separate, fixed self. It's about opening to the raw, unmediated freshness of each moment, as it truly is. Embrace this disappearance not as an end, but as the beginning of true presence. Here in the unburdened space of non-self, you find a peace that transcends all understanding. This is your awakened nature. Have you ever been so lost in a moment in art, music, or the vastness of nature that for a brief, wondrous instant, you forgot yourself entirely? Like a drop merging into the ocean, or a melody becoming one with silence. In those moments, the I that usually defines you simply vanishes. But when the moment passes, the I returns. Who was it that experienced that profound absorption? And who is this I that always seems to be watching? We often take this observer for granted, a solid, unchanging core. Yet, like a flame, it appears to be constant, but is merely a continuous process of burning. This I is a story we constantly tell ourselves, woven from memories, hopes, and fears. It's a convenient label, not an inherent reality. Centuries ago, a seeker named Bahia approached the Buddha with an urgent plea to be taught the Dharma in a way he could understand immediately, for his life was short. The Buddha, seeing Bahia's readiness, offered one of the most direct and radical teachings, a path to liberation not through thought, but through pure, unadulterated experience. In the seen, there is only the seen. In the heard, there is only the heard. In the sensed, only the sensed. In the cognized, only the cognized. No I that sees, no I that hears. Just the pure, unmediated experience of phenomena. When the I disappears from perception, the suffering tied to it also vanishes. So, in every moment as you see, hear, taste, touch, and think, practice letting the I disappear. Just the seeing, just the hearing. This is the secret to true liberation.